Hey, my friends, welcome to the Dallas Daily Show podcast. We're continuing in the conversation we kind of started earlier this week of the lessons I've received from dog training. This is part 3 of those lessons, and this one is a lot of fun. It comes from the wolf. It comes from the wolf. Let's get into the conversation. Well, I hope you've enjoyed these episodes. As we've been training our dog, I've been writing down lessons that I've learned. Things like consistency of language is so important. Consistency amongst our family is so important when we're talking with our new dog, Pepper. She's awesome. We love her. She's so cute. I think I've said that in almost every episode. Also, consistency is one thing, simplicity is another. And we've been kind of applying this not only to our own personal lives, the way we speak to ourselves. You've heard me say this in past episodes. I didn't say it this week, but Dr. Noah St. John says the success of your life depends on 2 things. Number 1, the way you communicate with yourself, and number 2, the way you communicate with the world around you. And I think those are really key to our success. I mean, that's a big part of what I do in my brand is training people on the skills of communication, especially in our Called to Success Academy. But we've learned consistency is one thing. Simplicity is another. But our trainer said this thing this last week that I thought was fascinating. And she said, your dog is 99% wolf. And so when she said your dog is doing certain behaviors, and she said it almost ominously, she said, when your dog is doing this, it comes from the wolf. You can almost hear the voiceover artist for a movie. And when she's also doing this, it comes from the wolf. And then when she's dissecting things or tearing apart a piece of furniture, it comes from the wolf. And I was like, well, what are these things that my dog is doing that comes from the wolf? And so she decided to show me what comes from the wolf. I'm done saying it that way for now. P.S. If you didn't listen to yesterday's episode with Virginia, I hope you did, because I referenced that earlier this week, and I probably will be referencing again here. But our trainer was saying that wolves typically do 5 things: they roam, they track, they chase prey, or something like that, right? This is the behaviors of wolf. Wolves roam, they track, they chase, they catch, kill, and dissect. That's kind of all clumped into one, number 4 there. They catch, kill, and dissect. And then the 5th one is they protect territory. So number 1, they roam. Number 2, they track things. Number 3, they love to chase. Number 4, they catch, kill, and dissect. And then number 5, they protect territory. So your dog is 99% wolf. And what we have learned over time is that each breed of dog has been actually shaped based on those things. Is this dog a tracking dog? Oh, great. Maybe it's a hunting dog. Maybe we use a bloodhound to do tracking and chasing, right? Or is it a Siberian husky that was made for chasing and carrying sleds along long, cold distances, right? What was your dog bred for? And one of the things the trainer was saying was when your dog is misbehaving, it's usually a mismatch between how they were bred and their current environments, which I found fascinating. Is your dog meant for herding? So we have a Corgi Poodle mix, and that Corgi, it helps with herding of horses. Like, it likes to run out in the field and chirp at the horses to get them to corral. That was one thing we learned about the Corgi side of our dog, Pepper. One of her favorite things is our neighbor right across the street. She has a huge side yard. And when we unleash Pepper on that, we say, go. When we say that word, oh my goodness, that girl takes full sprint. She looks like she is trying to find some horses to chase down. It's adorable to watch her do it. She loves to be outside and running. All right. Depending on your dog, depending on what they do, right? And the truth is, gang, people ain't that different. So if you're frustrated at someone's performance, you can say, am I honoring? Like, if someone isn't, like, let's go back to the referral partner thing. We've talked about that quite a bit this week. Or if you're a leader, right? Certain people are bred for different things. And when we understand how they're wired, we can actually communicate in a way that actually makes sense to them. What was that thing we said yesterday? Clarity is kindness. So is leaning into someone's wiring. Why do we have things like the Myers-Briggs in business? Why do we have things like DISC in business? Right? Why do we have things like Enneagram? Why do we have things like, I could keep going down the list here, introversion, extroversion studies, shadow work with Carl Jung. Like, we've got an overabundance of psychology tools to understand how and why people tick, and how and why we can help them accelerate what they're doing. So if we're frustrated with someone, we can ask ourselves, am I communicating in a way that honors them? Knowing what someone is built for. Like, I know people who are purebred salespeople. And if they're not out hunting for sales all the time, they actually can get depressed. I know other people who, and I tend to be one of them, purebred performers. Like, if we're not out speaking, talking, doing the thing, if we're not getting that, it doesn't make us any less of a person, because a performer can't sell as well as a natural born salesman or a natural bred salesman, right? There are people who are positional leaders who don't have any skills, who got put in a position. There are others who are influence leaders, right? There are some people who are more people oriented. There are some people who are more task oriented. And then there's you and the future you, right? How were you built? What were you built for? What are your typical instincts? What are your typical strengths, right? What are your typical ways that you lead? What are the typical ways that you hunt, kill, dissect? Please don't kill. You know what I mean by that. How do you protect your territory? What are you bred for? People are all different. But when it comes to the dog, we ain't that different. We all have instincts, we all have strengths, we all have wirings, we all have personality types. And if you and I can understand, number one, what we're built for, and like that Noah St. John quote, success of your life is determined by two things. One, by the way you communicate to yourself. Two, by the way you communicate to the world around you. So if you know how you're built and what success looks like for you in the way you speak simplicity and consistency for yourself, and can you turn that outwards for others, your zone of genius, tap into their zone of genius, right? Your strength, tap into their strength. Whether it's with referral partners, prospects, clients, team members, whatever it is for you, relationships, a strong sense of understanding and a strong sense of community and communication skills will not only activate you in your strength, it will activate other people in their strengths. Quit trying to clone them to be like you. Leverage who they are to accomplish a common goal. It's an amazing thing, right? I love that. It's something to really think about. So ask yourself, what am I built for? And then when you ask other people, just say, hey, tell me a little bit more about you. How can I best communicate with you? How can we have a better relationship? People love those questions. My wife and I have had to work out over 21 years. Hey, if I talk to you this way, babe, I know it goes sideways every time. We've had to learn how to communicate with each other. But when you're talking with partners, team members, clients, prospects, you just find out what's the best way to communicate with you. It's a powerful tool. After all, it comes from the wolf. All right, that's it. Okay, go out there, my friends. Have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.